You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the Distracted Dreamer podcast. I'm your host, Carlene, and today we are revisiting a topic that we can always keep working on. It is perfectionism. Now, back in episode 40, I shared with you how perfectionism is stealing our dreams, and I shared with you what research says about why it's getting worse, how it affects our mental health, and why letting go of perfect is probably one of the bravest things that we can do. So you're probably wondering, why am I back behind the mic talking about it again? Well, because just when we think that we've put the perfectionist monster to sleep, it rears its head in that very sneaky way. It disguises itself as excellence and hard work and caring oh so much. And today, I'm going to give you some tough love because you have to be really honest with yourself about what's actually happening. And when you can name it for what it is, that's when you can actually do something about it. And if there's someone in your life that's been perfecting something for some time, go ahead and send this episode to them right now. They will thank you for it, I promise. Today, I'm going to give you 5 questions to ask yourself so that you can uncover whether how you're approaching a project or a dream is perfectionism or if it's something else entirely. Then I'm going to give you 3 shifts that are going to get you going and keep you going, even when perfectionism tries to nudge its way back in there. So let me start by asking you something and be really honest with yourself. Are you sitting on a dream right now that you still haven't started? You know, the book or the business or the big move or the next chapter. Maybe you've bought the domain or you've outlined the idea and you've talked about it for years, but you still haven't released the thing or done the thing. And when someone asks why, this is the answer that comes really fast. Oh, well, I'm a perfectionist. And here's the thing about that. Perfectionism promises control. It sounds so responsible, and it even looks ambitious. But most of the time, perfectionism, it's just fear. And there's a difference between having high standards and hiding behind them until you feel safe enough to try. Years ago, when I was building the first version of my Undaunted course, I got completely trapped in this cycle. There were Post-its all over the walls. I kept rearranging the lessons and tweaking things that were honestly already fine. And the whole time, I told myself, it's about getting it perfect. This needs to be excellent. But honestly, I was scared to ship it because if it went out into the world and failed, that failure would be public. But as long as it stayed on my desk, I could still believe in the perfect version I was holding in my head. So eventually, I half-heartedly set a launch date, and reality taught me what all that polishing never could. You know what? Some lessons were too long. Something I thought was brilliant actually confused people. And this one surprised me. People didn't just want the course. They wanted me, their coach. And you know what? That feedback helped me improve the next version faster than months of overthinking ever would have. And it taught me something I haven't forgotten since. Nothing can be perfected until it's completed. You cannot improve what you refuse to release. And most people stay stuck, not because they lack talent, but because they're waiting to feel fully ready before they move. That's not a high standard. That's a loop. So before we talk about how to break out of it, I want to help you figure out which one you're actually in. Are you in perfectionist mode or hiding? Because perfectionist mode and hiding mode, they look almost identical from the outside, but they have very different solutions. So here are 5 questions to help you tell them apart. You might want to pause here, go get something to take some notes, and we're going to move through these 5 questions. Question number 1 is, Are you improving what you're working on? Or are you just moving things around? Real refinement makes something better. But if you've been rearranging the same slides and rewriting the same paragraph or rearranging the same folder for weeks or rearranging your furniture, right? And nothing is actually better, that's not standards. That's stalling. So maybe you've been the person who's repainted her vision board 3 times this year. New paper, new fonts, the new layout. But the dream on it hasn't changed, and neither has your progress toward it. Or maybe you're the one who keeps reorganizing her home office. You got new shelving, you got the new bins and the new labels. Because once the space is just right, you're finally going to be ready to start the thing that you've been putting off. So ask yourself, has anything materially improved in the last week? If the answer is no, you're not refining, you're hiding. All right, question number 2. What is the actual consequence if this isn't perfect? Not the catastrophized version, the real one. If you hit publish and there's a typo, what's going to happen? Is the world going to end? Is your world going to end? What is going to happen? If you finally share your photography and someone doesn't love it, what happens? Nothing happens. If you send the pitch and they say no, what actually changes? Nothing. It just means you go make another pitch to someone else. Because most of the time, the honest answer is not much changes. Maybe you're the person who has been sitting on a heartfelt letter to her estranged sister for months, and you keep rewriting it, and you're softening it, and then you're sharpening it, because you need it to be exactly right. But meanwhile, the silence between you just keeps growing. Or maybe you're the one who's been perfecting her resume for so long that 3 positions that you were qualified for, they've already closed. And if the consequence you're most afraid of is what people will think of you, that's not perfectionism. That's fear of judgment in a very convincing costume. Okay, question number 3. Would you give someone you love the same advice you're giving yourself? So if your daughter or your best friend or your sister came to you and said, I've been working on this for 8 months and I'm not sure it's ready, what would you say? I'm guessing you wouldn't say, keep rearranging it. You'd probably say, let people see it. You'll figure out the rest as you go. That's what you would say. So maybe you're the mom who's been planning to start a grief group in your community after you've lost your own mother. You've done the research and you've found the venue and you've written the outline, but you keep telling yourself that you're not qualified enough or credentialed enough or ready enough. And meanwhile, there are other women in your neighborhood who are sitting alone in that same grief. They're waiting for exactly what you have already built. So remember, we are so much kinder with other people's dreams than we are with our own. Question number 4. What would you do if no one was watching? Ooh, this one cuts right to it. If the launch couldn't be announced or book couldn't be published, like if no one would know that you did it, if there was no feedback, no comments, no metrics, would you still be stuck? Or would you have shipped it already? Maybe you're the woman who's been redecorating the same room of your house for a year because, the neighbors might see it, so you want to get it perfect. Or maybe you're the one who keeps rewriting the same chapter because you're imagining your book on someone's nightstand, and that's kind of terrifying. Or maybe you're the one who's prepared that presentation 10 times, but you haven't pitched it because someone on the leadership team intimidates you. And maybe you're the woman who finally started walking every morning. Yay, you. But you stopped posting about it on Facebook when the comments slowed down. You're not getting that external validation. And so now you're not even sure if you want to keep going without the accountability of people watching. So if the work would already be done in a world where no one was watching, the problem was never the work. Okay, question number 5. What are you waiting to feel before you start? Are you waiting to feel ready? Are you waiting to feel confident? Are you waiting to feel sure and certain? Well, I have a secret for you. Those feelings, those come after you start, not before. Those come after. You want to feel ready, confident, and sure? You first have to start. Let's think about a woman who has spent 2 years telling herself that she's going to join a painting class once she got better at drawing first. So she bought the books and she watched the tutorials and she practiced alone where no one could see. But the class, the community, the feedback, the actual growth, it was on the other side of just showing up imperfectly to the class. So confidence is a result of action. It's not a prerequisite for it. If you're waiting to feel a certain way before you begin, you're waiting for something that only comes from doing the very thing that you are avoiding. I know those are some pretty good questions, huh? And they make you look at the things that you're telling yourself, the things that you're making yourself believe are true and they're not true. And it can be hard to look at that. So just sit with them for a while and just be honest with yourself because we all do this. So maybe you've landed somewhere uncomfortable. That's good. That means that this is the right conversation for you. So now I'm going to give you 3 shifts to help you build momentum from where you are right now. And where you are right now is you are in that honest place. You know this is fear that is holding you back. You know that you are hiding. And what we want to do is we want to build momentum that will keep that perfectionist monster silenced. It can't nudge its way back in if you got the momentum going. You're going to be moving too fast for it to find you. Here's the first shift, is to stop confusing busy with progress. You know, I get it. A packed calendar, it can make you feel really productive. But while you're feeling productive, you're actually avoiding the work that matters. So the researching and the tweaking and the organizing and the planning to plan, that is movement without momentum. So if you've been preparing to start your wellness journey for the last 6 months, maybe you've read every book and you've followed every Instagram account and you've bought the journals, but you haven't taken a single walk yet. That's not momentum. Or maybe you've been gathering recipes and watching cooking videos for a year because you want to start hosting dinner parties, but you haven't had anyone over yet. The research isn't the problem. Staying in the research is. Real progress comes from finished things that actually serve someone. So ask yourself, what is the one outcome that truly matters this week? You want an outcome. You want to be able to see that milestone. What is that? Not 10 priorities, one finish line, one outcome. Okay, shift number 2 is to build a system for momentum. You know, progress, it isn't about a mood. You know how you say, oh, I'm going to go clean my closet out when I feel like it. Or we wait to feel like it. Well, that's not a system. So here's a simple framework. Map it. Choose one meaningful outcome for the next 72 hours. Make it, block real time on your calendar to work on it, not I'll get to it in actual time. And then move it, ship at 80% instead of waiting for perfect. So you want to map it, which means you're going to say, this is what I want the outcome to be. You're going to make it, and that's blocking time on your calendar and then actually doing it. And then move it, it means ship it at 80% instead of waiting for perfect. Because you know what? Momentum creates clarity far faster than overthinking ever will. So think about the woman who finally sends the volunteer proposal to her church. Or how about the woman who texts 3 friends to schedule a walk? That imperfect invitation, no frills. Or what about the woman who posts the thing that she's been sitting on for 3 weeks? All of those are momentum. All of them move something forward. Okay, the final shift is shift number 3, and that is to choose service over self-protection. And this is the hardest one, and I don't mean service as in you serving people. It just means service as in putting it out there, Because sometimes we keep polishing, not because the work needs it, but because we're afraid of being seen. And I want to be really honest with you here because this one trips me up too. The book that you haven't finished, is it really not ready? Or are you protecting yourself from the possibility that it's not going to land the way that you hoped? Or maybe the conversation that you haven't had, is it really about finding the right words? Or is it about avoiding the discomfort of being truly seen? And whatever that thing is that you've been building, is it really not ready? Or are you just scared of what it would mean if you actually put it out there and people saw it and responded and had opinions about it? Here's the question I still ask myself. Am I polishing to serve the work or to protect myself from judgment? That question is going to tell you everything. Okay, my friend, let's bring it all home. I am going to recap this here. I have heard from you all that you love when I recap at the end, so we are doing it. So here are the 5 questions to ask yourself. Question number 1, are you improving the work or just moving things around? Has anything materially changed in the last week? That's question number 1. Question number 2, what is the actual consequence if this isn't perfect? Not the catastrophized version, the real one. Question number 3, would you give someone you love the same advice you're giving yourself right now? Question number 4, what would you do if no one was watching? Would the work already be done? Question 5, what are you waiting to feel before you start? Because ready and confident, they come after, not before. And if those questions tell you it's time to move, here are your 3 shifts to create momentum. Shift number 1 is to stop confusing busy with progress. Pick one outcome, one finish line this week, just one. Shift number 2, build a system for momentum. Map it, make time for it, and then ship it at 80%. And shift number 3 is to choose service over self-protection. Ask yourself, am I polishing to serve the work or to avoid being seen? I hope you were able to write those down. I hope you just paused me in between so you could get them down. And I want you to go back and review those when you find yourself procrastinating and telling yourself that you are making things better and this has to be perfect. If you ever hear the P word, come back to these questions or listen to this episode. Because you know what? It is going to come back. It's kind of wired in our brains. But now you're going to know exactly what to do. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Perfectionism is not your enemy. High standards are not your enemy. Fear is. Now, fear can be good because it says that you care. But when you let fear make the decision, it's your enemy. Fear doesn't get a choice. You take control back from the fear. Fear doesn't decide whether you keep moving forward. Because once you can name it and you can really say, yeah, this is fear, you can make a different choice. And it's not going to be a perfect choice, but it is going to be a brave one. And I want you to remember, done over perfect every single time. And I am rooting for you. So now go ship the thing. And I'll be back next week to welcome you into our next episode. Bye for now.
Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. The stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.